ran into Nordstrom and Abercrombie. They didn't open until 11 and I got to the mall at like 10:10, so I had to go to Starbucks to like waste time. But it's fine, it was like such a huge line, so it ended up being super long anyways. But now I have to go to UPS and return some Amazon orders, and then I was gonna stop at the European store and get some like farmer's cheese because I want to make these bakery Danish things. I made some Zupa soup last night. It's very good. I overfilled my bowl today. My other bowls are in the dishwasher, but this is very good. I made it with ground turkey this time. My husband really loved it. He like said it was the best comfort food. I don't think this guy knows what he's doing. I love how I'm dressed up and you're just like shorts.
But it's like a good, like...
Yeah, you look good. Looks pretty.
Like the morning run here too.
Walk? Walk there? Yeah, because that's Rivertail. I don't know why, but I thought we kind of been in this area before. I think we were supposed to go right there, but I guess we're walking into, this is like, I think they're water taxis.
Where?
This area. Yeah, this looks bomb.
Have you tried it?
I tried a fried. I should probably try this sauce. The chipotle.
Bro, mine is like...
Oh my god,
Yeah.
you're gonna get dirty.
Yeah.
Didn't we do dog pictures for like our engagement shoot?
Yeah.
We did. Yeah. And that reminded me of it right now. So today I'm finally sharing my Russian peach cookie recipe with you. I am so excited. This one is like my most favorite dessert yet. It has 2 different creams inside, so it makes it super moist and creamy instead of dry. So I hope you really enjoy it. If you do make it, tag me in it. I ended up sharing a picture last time on Instagram and many of you reached out for the recipe. I decided to make a video tutorial because it does get trickier when you're adding the flour in, so I didn't want anyone to waste ingredients away and actually see me do it. So yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoy. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with 4 eggs, and you don't have to separate them or anything, you're just gonna throw them all in here. Okay, so now I go ahead and put in 2 cups of sugar, so it is a lot, but at the same time, you are making a ton of little desserts and you definitely want that sweetness. So just add that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and set it on to my mixer. Oh, and before you go ahead and turn on like the sugar and the eggs. I do put in vanilla. I have this one right now, which is a vanilla powder that I got off Amazon. I normally use a Russian store kind, like a brand. I don't even know what the name is of it, but next time I have it, I will show it to you guys. And I will just go ahead and put in like a tablespoon worth in here. So I could have just grabbed a spoon, but I'm just gonna eye it on here. Now you can go ahead and turn it on. So as you can see now, my mixture is super like yellowy white. So it's no longer like an orange color. And yes, my mixer is being retarded. I have to get a new one because it doesn't stay off. It always goes to 2. So I have to be careful whenever I make things. So that's on my next to go ahead and buy. But after this, I'm gonna add in 4 tablespoons of sour cream. And I do use the Daisy brand. I will just use the same measuring spoon because I do have a squeezable mayo. But yeah, you're gonna wanna go ahead and mix that together really quickly. So you're gonna wanna add in the margarine right here. You wanna add in 200 grams. So this right here is 14 tablespoons. Once you mix that together and combine it, now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is add in 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. I always store mine in mason jars and then I just label the bottom of it. That way it stays fresh the longest. But I'm kind of eyeing it anyway, so I'm just gonna add it into another measuring cup. And then I need to go ahead and add in the vinegar. Probably gonna do this off camera because this thing is ginormous. I got it at Costco and of course it's so big, but you just want this stuff to fizz up. So I normally add in, make sure I'm recording because sometimes I don't. So I normally add in like the same amount. Yeah, that will work. So I'm adding just a bit over like 1 teaspoon, and this is gonna be like 3/4, 1 teaspoon and 3/4 of vinegar. So just make it finish bubbling, mix it together so that way you don't have any of the lumps from the baking soda. And then just pour it in here. I'm just gonna close it, mix it really quickly. And then you're gonna wanna put in 4 cups of flour. I kind of round it up to about that and then see how it looks. This is my sifted flour container. I actually grew up with my parents always having a sifted flour, and we always had an extra somewhere in the pantry. I don't think you guys have been seeing me measure out accurately this entire time, so let's switch the camera down here. But I just go ahead and scoop and then slide it over. So it depends on what flour you use and how you end up measuring. You want it to become cookie dough texture. So I'm changing up to a paddle attachment just to give it the final mix. So this has been 8.5 cups of flour in total. And here is the final result up close. That way you guys see it's literally cookie dough. You're gonna want to preheat your oven to 325, which I just did, and then we're gonna be getting like a large tablespoon, and we are going to take a pretty, like, I guess it's gonna be like 2 tablespoons in it, and all you're gonna do is just shape it into a ball and put it on your cookie sheet. So pretty simple. Last step. So you're gonna get a round ball, put it together and place it down. I am actually probably going to grease my hand, that way everything turns out really good and stops sticking to my fingers. So I'm going to do that, and you can always do that as well. Keeps its shape, so definitely grease your hands. I'm going to redo this one too. That way it doesn't have any like different shape once I'm baking it. So I'm just finishing them up right now. The sun is setting, so it's probably gonna like start getting dark once these are finishing up baking, so I'm probably gonna have to have like a way different lighting. Just FYI for anyone that's been watching this the entire time, that way you know what's going on. It's just like 5:40 already, and this takes a lot longer to make when you video. So my oven's preheated. I'm gonna put these in for about like a little bit over 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna start looking and seeing when it's gonna be finished. Okay, so it's been like 30 minutes, and I'll show you why these are done. So when you turn them over, they're not black, but they're just goldeny. And then I have that one that I'm gonna put in for the rest of the time being. And then this one right here, we have to actually carve it out right now while it's warm. So let me set up my camera and I'll show you guys how I do it. Okay, so I end up using like this little butter knife from my kitchen set, and you want to do this when it's warm, so you don't want to go too close to the edge, because when you're going to be closing them, like, you don't want it to puncture a hole. Sorry, my husband just got home, but you don't want to puncture a hole, so you don't want to go too deep, and you kind of want to watch exactly what you're doing. And then I kind of slightly lift it up like this, and so you get like a little cap thing that comes out. Just set it aside, and I like to take out just a tiny bit more, so I'll go a little bit into like underneath the little ridges that I just did, because you want the cream to still be able to go in there. So I just do that, and then all this I'll just dump into a container, because you can use up all the rest of the little dough cookie stuff that's cooked and mix it with like cream and make another dessert. So this is your final result of what it ends up looking like. So no hole on that side, but yeah. So I'm going to continue doing the rest of these really quickly. As you can see, none of these ended up puncturing on that side, and they're already getting like hard by the time I'm finishing up those right now. So I carved them out. Another thing to remember is don't squeeze them tight when you're carving, so that way you don't make them break either, because they're so like fragile when they're so warm still. But yeah, let me go ahead and finish up, and then I'll show you how I make the cream. So I'm making my cream right now. I am going to be using a cup of heavy whipping cream, a block of cream cheese. I'm going to use a can of sweetened condensed milk, and actually half a can of sweetened condensed milk, sorry to clarify that, and half a can of cooked condensed milk. I know that the stores sell it, but there is a way you can just buy this kind of brand or a better brand and make it yourself. I don't, because the local European store near me makes it the exact same way, this brand only. I've tried the other brands there, so this is the brand that I love to use. It tastes just like the one I would make by myself at home. So now I just took out all of my things from the refrigerator. I end up putting it in there, that way it can be cold for when you whip up the heavy cream. But I'm just gonna add in the cup of heavy cream in here. I'm not gonna divide it yet, because it's just easier to whip that first. So it's just roughly slightly over the cup. Okay, I had to take my sweater off, but what I end up doing so that way my kitchen still stays clean is I use this thing. I get a lot of plastic wrap and then I go ahead and create like a little barrier for everything, and I start to like put this underneath. That way it's just easier cleanup. Trust me, I haven't done that before. It's gonna be your lifesaver. And you're gonna whip it for literally like a minute. Not more because you don't want to over whip. So now that it's whipped up, I'm gonna go ahead and divide it into 2 separate bowls. Okay, so now you're gonna want to go ahead and just put your softened cream cheese inside of the bowl. If I can open it. I decided to buy the Costco kind because it is around the holiday and we normally bake a lot more around this time. You're gonna want to whip this as well. After that, you just want to divide it in half. That way you can whip the cream cheese with like half the can of regular condensed milk first. I will fold it in with the mixer, so it's just going to be a few seconds because you don't want to over whip. But you're going to put it into the fridge while you do your other one. Okay, so after you go ahead and put back the cream cheese that you already whipped, go ahead and open up your can, and same thing, the same way that I did the other thing, you're gonna just repeat with this one. That's what it looks like. I'm gonna whip it up until I combine it as well. Okay, so I have the kitchen all cleaned up. I showed you guys how I made this cream and the other one. Just took them out of the fridge, but my little cookies are already all prepped. So I like to find a pair for them and put it like right next to it. Something that's similar in size, so that way it just makes it much easier for when you're filling it and then you just close it. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and fill them really quickly, and then I'll show you guys how I decorate. So yeah, all you want to do is just fill it and smear it. You don't want to have extra because you want it to still close, but you can still have it act as glue. And these are how cute they look. And then all we're gonna just do right now is close them up so that way they're all closed up, and then I'll show you guys how we decorate. Okay, now it's time to decorate. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the creams and put them in the fridge, but over here I have 2 glasses because I need to do the dishes. But I have my food coloring. If you prefer to use like beet or carrot water instead, to make one red and one orange. So I just mix my colors together. It doesn't have to be like super bright or anything because as the cookie sets, it's gonna absorb more of the coloring. I lined one of the pans with paper towels, and then all of my cookies are right here, and we're just gonna go ahead and dip and then put in here. I'll probably put this here, that way we can avoid any of the food coloring falling. And of course some of the cookies are not closed all the way good, but you get to dip it whatever way you want to. So I'm gonna do that way and then that way. Just set it down and you'll see the color will start to pick up. You don't want to hold it in long. Okay, so the last thing you want to do is just get some sugar and put it on a plate or inside of a bowl, because you're going to want to go ahead and dip each peach in there. So you're literally just gonna grab, I'm gonna start off with some of them that already sat for a while, and I'm gonna just dip it in, make it look all pretty. And then you're gonna just set it into your other sheet pan. Okay, so it's now the next morning. I wanted to wait to show you guys them in like natural daylight so you can kind of see it. It's still a little bit dark because it's rainy today, but these are like the true color of them. So they don't show up as bright as they are in person on video still, but they are very, very cute and just super like very presentationable. You can even like go ahead and stick like a little leaf in there, like a mint leaf or some other kind I've seen people do, and then it'll actually look like a peach. So they are very cute, and we already ate a few of them over like last night, but they are best to be served the next day. So if you make it, it's best to eat it the next day, and also let it like become a little bit more room temperature, so let it sit out. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna just end the vlog out here. Hope you enjoyed, and if you do make these, comment and let me know how they turned out for you.